Hello and welcome. I have a few unit conversions that I would like to practice in this pencast and go over with you. First, 23 nanometers in length. How much is this converted to inches? Since I do not have a direct conversion from nanometers to inches, I'm going to have to use probably more than one conversion factor. In looking at the information that I have of various different conversions, I could go from nanometers over to meters. Once I'm at the base unit, I could go from the metric unit of meters over to the unit of inches. So this would be a two-step conversion. First, converting from nanometers to meters, and then the second conversion from meters to inches. So for the first conversion, nanometers to meters, I need to find some equality that tells me how much a nanometer is in a meter. In looking at the prefix nano, my power of 10 definition for nano tells me this is 10 to the power of minus 9. And meter is my base unit with no prefix in front. So we would have a power of 10 to the 0. The difference between these two powers of 10 is 9 steps in powers of 10. Going from minus 9 up to 0. Each of these steps represents one power of 10. I assign a number 1 to the larger of the two units. This is meters. So 1 meter is 2, and I give my power of 10 to my smaller unit, nanometers. And we just said the difference between the two was 9 steps in powers of 10. This would be 10 to the power of 9 nanometers. So 10 to the power of 9 nanometers, 1 billion little nanometers contained within one large meter. This is our first conversion factor we can use. Our second conversion, going from meters to inches, we actually have that information provided to us on our yellow sheet. The equality is 39.37 inches equals 1 meter. So we can place this into a conversion where inches is the unit that we ultimately want to convert to. I want to have this unit placed on top in the numerator and my unit meters placed in the denominator. So the setup for this conversion starts off with our given piece of information, 23 nanometers. Our length is going to be multiplied by our first conversion factor between meters and nanometers. I want to place nanometers in the denominator since that is the unit I want to cancel, and meters will be in the numerator on top since that is what I want to convert to. Nanometers cancel. Now that we are in meters, I can now use the second conversion factor to go from meters to inches. Just use it the way it is because it has meters on bottom in the denominator, so that meters will cancel, and what I want, inches, is left on top. So when performing this calculation on my calculator, 23 nanometers is going to be multiplied by 39.37, and anything in the denominator is going to be divided. So divide by 10 to the power of 9 in scientific notation is the same thing as saying 1 times 10 to the power of 9. So now we'll show how it is with most calculators. I enter in 1 and then either enter in the EXP button for exponent or the double E button, which stands for times 10 to the power of, and then I just put the exponent value after that, which would be positive 9. And in the end, my calculator answer that I get is 9.0551 times 10 to the minus 7. Now we are not going to keep all of our calculator answer, so we probably have to limit our number of significant figures Looking back at my measured values, 23 nanometers has 2 sig figs, and the only other portion of my calculation that has a measured value is not in nanometers to meters, since this is within the same system, but in going from meters to inches, that is going from metric to English. The number that is not 1 is the measured value of the conversion. 39.37 is a measured value. Someone had to measure that. It has 4 sig figs according to my rules for multiplication. 2 sig figs is less than 4, so there is just going to be 2 sig figs in my final answer. My cutoff point will be after the 9.0. I look after the 0. Since I have a number that is 5 or greater, I'm going to have to round up my 0 to a 1. So my final answer is 9.1 times 10 to the minus 7 inches. 23 nanometers is equal to 9.1 times 10 to the minus 7 inches.